Hi, this is Drew DeLucchi. I posted a video before. This is my second video. I decided today that I'm going to discuss the topics you guys currently discussed today on October 17th on Monday. I'm over 18. I'm 21 years old. I go to the University of Kansas and currently a senior, majoring in sport management and minoring in business. Home of the Jayhawks, worst football team in the nation and best basketball team in the nation. I'm sorry, but we're better than Kentucky, Duke, North Carolina, all of them. I'm from the Bay Area. Diehard Giants, 49ers, San Francisco Giants, Stephen A. Just saying, and Timothy Mascon, San Francisco Giants, the real winners. 49ers, Warriors. I'm not a bandwagoner, and Sharks. I'm all about the old school. I'm rocking a Joe Montana jersey, number 16. So I'll talk about the first topic. One of the first topics you guys talked about, Colin Kaepernick starting. As I am a 49ers fan and I thoroughly watched that game. No, I don't think it was a bad idea to start Colin Kaepernick. What would Blaine Gabbert have done? What would Blaine Gabbert have done? Yeah, he would have just thrown a pick. Blaine Gabbert has thrown one pick in each of his games that he's played. Kaepernick, he made smart decisions, didn't force anything. His problem was nobody was getting open. Yes, he made a couple overthrows, but then again, that was his first game in a year, and I think he did pretty well. There was also this one play that Blaine Gabbert would easily took a safety on, where Kaepernick was in the end zone, and the Buffalo Bill defender was ready to drag him into the end zone for a safety. He gets out of that and runs for 15 yards. Kaepernick has shown that he's still deadly with his legs. He ran for 66 rushing yards, and I believe he can run more for next week. And I'm sorry, Stephen A. Smith, but this Bills defense is pretty good. And last time I checked, didn't they shut out the Patriots? Oh, yeah, they did. And I'm pretty sure we actually scored points against them. The reason why the 49ers have struggled is not because of the passing game. Our pass protection has been pretty well. It's just that our rushing. Like, we can't defend the rush for crap. And that used to be our strong suit. Back in 2010, that was our strong suit. We had Patrick Willis, Navarro Bowman, Aldon Smith, Glenn Dorsey, Justin Smith. Glenn Dorsey's still there, but he's not the same. And Ahmad Brooks was great. The thing is, the 49ers are just garbage. I hate to say it, but they are. People still don't give us a pass for losing 11 of our starters. We lost a total of 9 Pro Bowlers, and that was the most ever in history. We lost probably one of the greatest linebackers of all time, Patrick Willis. Justin Smith, it was inevitable to leave. We lost Chris Borland, who was unexpected. Aldon Smith has got in trouble. He could have been one of the best pass rushers in the game, but he keeps on getting in trouble. We lost Michael Crabtree, who was good in my opinion. We lost Chris Culver. We lost Parrish Cox. I can go on and on and on. And of course, Dotnay Wintner too. But anyways, back to Colin Kaepernick. Colin Kaepernick, in my opinion, is a way better option than Blaine Gabbert. We just need to relax here for a second. It was his first start in a year, possibly over a year. Of course, he's going to be a little rusty. And there's only 2 things that I didn't like what he did. He had to overthrow to Torrey Smith, but he made up for that on the next drive where he threw a touchdown to him. And he also overthrew Drawn, which wasn't bad. But besides that, nobody was getting open. He ran with his legs, and it was a good first game back. It just looks bad because we lost 45-16, but the game was much closer than that. At one point, we were only down by 8 points. And it's basically the Bills just tried to run up the score because they wanted to. They just kept on running with McCoy, and we couldn't guard McCoy, and McCoy just kept on scoring touchdowns. So I think that's a little bit of overreaction. So on to the next topic. And I know I'm talking a little fast, but I do that. So the next topic, I would have to say with the Cowboys. I think people need to relax about the Cowboys. Does anybody remember when the Cowboys faced my 49ers? Last time I checked, it was 14-0, right? We're up 14-0. And I think the momentum shifted that game when the refs on third down, when we sacked, it was towards the end of the second quarter, when we sacked Dak Prescott. I forgot exactly who got called for the penalty. I think it was Robinson, but a 49ers cornerback got called for penalty for pushing Dak Prescott, and it was roughing the passer, and it gave him automatic first down. They would have punted it to us, and we, so far, that whole game, we converted like every third down. We could have easily shifted momentum. We could have gone up 17-0, 21-0, but that changed everything. Then they scored a touchdown that drive. So I think it's overreaction. They beat us 24-17. The 49ers are literally, I think we're worse than the Browns, to be honest. The Browns have at least had close games. And you look at the other teams they've beaten. Redskins are the most unpredictable team, I would say. They, one week, they beat the Eagles, and they just do trash. I still think they looked bad against the Eagles. That Kirk Cousins pick six was really bad. But also the Bengals are literally not a legitimate win, in my opinion. Another thing, I'm looking at the schedule right now. The Bears, the thing is that Green Bay win was good, but the one problem about Green Bay is that they're unpredictable too. They almost lost the Jags, and Jags are alright. Yes, they beat the Lions, but the Lions have literally no defense. And the Giants are unpredictable. But I still need to see the Cowboys face a legitimate team before I see anything. Like, they face the Eagles next week. That will be interesting, but it's at home. Then they face the Browns, then the Steelers. I would like to see the Steelers with Roethlisberger fully healthy. If they can beat them at the Steelers, I will consider them legitimate. But till now, I'm with Stephen A. I don't think they're legitimate right now. And I need to obviously just wait and see. Prescott. So, on the next topic. As a 49ers fan, I absolutely hate the Seahawks. I'll be completely honest here. I thought that Seahawks game was a load of bullcrap. That was a pass interference on Richard Sherman. A blind squirrel could have made that play. A blind squirrel could have called that play. There was no doubt that it was. Sorry, my dog's in the background making noise right now. But I could have made that call. They were literally, if you look at replay, I'm pretty sure there was two. It was Earl Thomas too. Dragging Julio Jones, and Julio Jones almost caught it with one hand. I think Matt Bryant, I think, would have made that field goal, and it would seal the game, and the Seahawks would have lost. I think the Seahawks got robbed, and I'm not going to say it was assisted by the refs, because that is totally wrong for me to say. The refs obviously missed it, but I don't know how they missed it, which is hard. And generally, receivers, they get the star treatment, or they'll get star treatment. And how do you miss a receiver who's literally 6'3", 220? How do you not notice one of his arms is literally dragged down? And why do you think he's only done it with one hand? Why do you think he's only doing it with one hand? And I think Sherman purposely did that because he got burned by Julio Jones a previous play before. And I think Sherman is just an absolute ego head. He wasn't listening at all when those people had those teammates like Wagner, Chancellor, and Snead and Sheed. They all had the right to yell at Sherman on the sideline. Sherman he wasn't arguing back. He just wasn't looking at them. Because he's such an ego head. I know he went to Stanford and he's smart, but he's not smart on the field. He needs to listen to his teammates. He got burned by Julio Jones, and he was trying to blame it on other people. I believe that defense is overrated. I believe the Falcons should have won that game. And I believe that the Falcons are legit. That offense is scary. Julio Jones is the definition of a workhorse. Matt Ryan, I know people say, he has Julio Jones. No, but he doesn't just pass it to Julio Jones, even though Julio Jones has a lot of yards. But he still has Mohamed Sanu. And he also has Devontae Freeman in the backfield, who's a great catching back, by the way. But overall, the Seahawks just got lucky, and I'm going to say they got assisted by the refs. I'm not saying the refs did it on purpose. I'm saying they got assisted by the refs in the purpose of they forgot to make the call. Okay, so for the next topic, I would like to talk about Stephen A. Steelers. I thought if Roethlisberger was fully healthy and he would play that whole game, the Steelers would have won that game. And I truly believe that Le'Veon Bell would have ran for way more yards. The problem is when they put in the backup quarterback, people like, oh, they're probably just going to run with Le'Veon Bell, so they did more blitzes. So that's why when Roethlisberger's there, you have one of the best quarterbacks in the game and probably the best back in the game. So you don't know what they're going to do, pass it or run it. And the thing is, I'm worried about Roethlisberger because he's had injury history in the past. They say it's not long-term, but that injury looked pretty bad. I think once he returns fully healthy, he'll be fine. I think he'll be fully healthy by the Cowboys game. I want to be fully healthy by the Cowboys game so I can see if the Cowboys are actually legitimate. I know it's on the road. If the Cowboys lose at Steelers with a fully healthy Roethlisberger and fully healthy Le'Veon, I know Le'Veon's not injured, but he does have injury issues, fully healthy Le'Veon, and they only lose by like 3-4 points, then I'll say legit. They lose by like 2 touchdowns or 10 points, then no. If people are considering from the Super Bowl, and I hate this, Cowboys are not Super Bowl contenders yet. I know they're 5-1, but they're not Super Bowl contenders. I still am not a believer in that defense, to be completely honest. And Dak Prescott, it's just like what happened to Colin Kaepernick. Colin Kaepernick was literally one of the most unstoppable forces. People thought he was going to be better than Aaron Rodgers. Freaking Jaworski said he was going to be the greatest quarterback ever. Stephen A. Smith, I remember him saying when the 49ers beat the Packers in Week 1 of 2013, he said, "Oh, he's a bad man. I'm not talking about Aaron Rodgers." I remember him saying that, and look what happened now. Let's just give Dak Prescott some time. I think we're overacting Dak Prescott like we overacted to Colin Kaepernick, in my opinion, because Dak Prescott still has a lot to prove. Colin Kaepernick ran for 181 yards against the Packers, and he led to the Super Bowl. I think what Colin Kaepernick has done in the beginning of his career has been way better than Dak Prescott. So let's give Dak Prescott at least a year or two to prove himself. Well, that's all for today. There was other topics here with Odell Beckham, but Odell Beckham, he did great. I found it funny how he hit under the practice kicking net. Found that funny. He still fumbled the ball yesterday. People don't realize that, and he's known for his hands. And I know he was upset about that, but he still fumbled the ball, and I'm not giving him a pass for that. I saw that you guys also talked about the Cam Newton thing. I don't think it's Cam Newton's fault for the Panthers. Their defense is just absolutely horrible. His offense scored 38 points. His defense gave up 41. That long pass to Brandon Cooks is unacceptable. They should know that Brandon Cooks is one of the fastest receivers in the league, and you shouldn't be playing that far in against one of the fastest receivers in the game. And he just literally blew right past him for a 78-yard touchdown. I am happy because I drew Brees in my fantasy team, but still, you shouldn't allow that to happen. I blame the Panthers strictly for the defense. Think about it. Guess what the only win is? Against the 49ers. Like, I see a trend happening. A lot of teams are just destroying the 49ers, and then they're not winning other games. The Panthers, they only have beaten us. I think they should have won Week 1. Gano should have made that. It's just, I don't blame Cam Newton at all, in my personal opinion. They lost to the Vikings with Cam Newton, which I don't blame him for. The Vikings are 5-0, and I think the best team in the league right now is probably the Vikings. That defense is scary. But I think, honestly, people are giving hope. Some people still have hope for the Panthers to make the playoffs. No. They're 0-3 in the division. They still have to face the Falcons again. Like, I mean, Julio Jones will just torch him again. I think they're done. They're not going to the playoffs. It's over for them. I think the Falcons win the division. What I think right now, what the Super Bowl is going to be like right now, is Stephen A. will like this. Steelers, Falcons. And I think Steelers win the Super Bowl. I think if the Steelers are fully healthy, they're the best team in the league. If Martavis Bryant stopped doing whatever it did, and if he stayed off that weed, as Stephen A. would say, they would be the best team in the league. That offense is scary. I think Martavis Bryant is one of the most underrated receivers in this league today. He's 6'5", he has hands like no other, and he's really fast. That catch he made last year against the Bengals, what the heck, man? And he's 6'5", too, like I mentioned before. Did I mention he's 6'5"? Yes, I did. But Steelers, Falcons. And I think the NFL should allow Martavis Bryant return for the playoffs, but they won't. But one of the also main reasons I think I already made my case for the Steelers, but the Falcons is because of that offense. Their defense isn't terrible. Their defense, because Trufant is solid, and I think their offense will make up for their defense. I believe that their defense will get better over the years, better over the weeks. I know they gave 20 points to the Seahawks, but Russell Wilson isn't any scrub. I know Russell Wilson is struggling at the beginning of the year offensively, but he's got back in his mojo after beating the 49ers. Just saying. But Falcons, in my opinion, should be 5-1 right now. That was a blown call, and now the Seahawks are 5-1. I think the Cardinals will make it as a wild card possibly, and I think the Packers will make it as a wild card, and Cowboys will win their division. Falcons will win their division. Vikings are going to win the division, and Seahawks are going to win the division. And for the AFC, Patriots, of course, win the East. I think that the Raiders are going to choke, and they're going to go 7-9 or 8-8. That game against the Chiefs looked absolutely horrible. I think Steelers win their division. I don't think Ravens or anybody else on that division makes a wild card. Bengals are done. I'm sorry, Bengals are just done. I think Bills get a wild card. I know it sounds bad, but they do. I personally think the Colts win that division. They'll eventually win it. And then I think the other wild card, honestly, is the Chiefs. I think the Raiders are going to choke, like I said. And, of course, the Broncos, win that division. I think Broncos are pulling out. Chargers, I just feel bad for Phillip Rivers. I'm sorry. I feel absolutely bad for him. He does everything for that team, and then his defense just chokes every win away possible. Well, that's it for today. I hope you enjoyed what I said. I hope I'm selected as one of the finalists for national TV. I would love to debate Stephen A. Smith, Max Kellerman, and I would love to meet Molly, of course, Miss Connecticut. Thank you very much for your time, and I hope you really consider me.